Alright, hey guys. Death here. Don't know what happened to the game audio in this part, or my audio. It all just screwed up, so I'm just going to do a voiceover. So right now, I'm just going to be looking at what the map stuff is. As you can see, there's two little land connections there that the enemy will have to cross that I could defend, but I don't really think that's going to be a good idea because, as you can see in the right, the troops they have. So we're just going to pull back out of this fight because, as you can see there, my troops are better than their Persian levy, but their archers are just going to tear me apart. So I am going to pull out of that fight and try something else. I'm going to either encamp or I'm going to raid. I think I end up deciding to go with the raiding because of my income, as you can see at the top of the screen. Right up there. I'm never going to point at it, but it's in red, so it should be easy to spot. But eventually I will decide to put them in raiding. As for the army I just selected, they are being hunted down by the by three armies, by three full stack armies, and the enemy armies are relentless. I'm gonna move this army closer to Kath or Kaith or whatever. I'm gonna put them in a encampment. I might even put them on raiding. I think I'm gonna put them on raiding later once I figure out that raiding is gonna give me a better income. So yeah, I put them in raiding, and as you can see, it's a huge difference for my income. I don't know if I remember to do it for the other army. I don't. All right, but I'm gonna be losing money, and at some point, it's gonna start to become a real issue. And yeah, so right now we're just watching the end turns, waiting for something to happen. Again, I'm really sorry about the audio. I don't know why, but for some reason, the recording stuff decided that when I hit record, when I pressed my hotkey to start recording, it decided to set my audio stuff back to defaults, which doesn't have sound. So I had to go back to my settings yeah, and to go back to my settings, and I had to change that. All right, so we're gonna get attacked by the Armenians and the Abar Shahar or whatever, and I decide to pull out of there. I don't feel like fighting that. Both of those armies are gonna hit me, and at this point I was complaining about how it's really frustrating how when you play as a huns faction. Oh wow, yeah. See right there, we just went bankrupt, which means we are now taking attrition on our armies, and again, that's going to be an issue. I lost that axe unit in this siege. I auto-resolved it, and I didn't pay attention, and I'm going to lose that really good axe unit, and I didn't even notice it. Yeah, see, they get dropped down to 29, and then I'm going to hit an Susa again, and I'm going to lose the axe unit. And I was wondering why why I was missing a unit in a big battle that happens, in a battle that I'm forced to fight. But I was wondering that. I lost a unit, and I was like, I knew I had a good unit. But yeah. And this is the point where I think I decide that I want to pull this army down further to assist. And as you can see, I'm trying to get my units to where they use as much movement as possible, but it's just not working for me because there's a river, and I don't want to move up that way. I want to move down towards the Sassanids and help out my king's army. But I'm just going to get right about there is where I'm going to order them to go, and then I'm going to either raid or encamp. Because I need the income from encamping. And this is where I decide to move this army a little closer to Kath, and then I decide to raid them, because better income when I'm raiding them. It's hurting them, and it's giving me a good thing. And right there I decide to raid again, and finally we're in the positives. And right now we're looking at research. So I can either go for scourging or that, or I can go for involuntary levy, which is recruitment cost, and I go for that. It's minus 10% recruitment cost, and I decide to go with that. Another end turn. But yeah, as I was saying about the audio stuff, I don't know what happened there. It just decided, my audio just decided when I hit record to not work, and it reset it defaults, and so then I had to go back in and reset it. And here we have the Sassanids are going to try and attack me. I am going to pull away because there's no way I can fight that, because individually I can beat them. They just have a ton of shit spear infantry, but again, it's those Severan cataphracts that are going to destroy me, along with am I going to point out the arch? Yeah, their mercenary crossbow cavalry. You can see I'm going between them just to get another look, but I cannot beat those armies together, but I can beat them individually, one at a time. I could easily beat one of those armies if I could get them alone, but that's difficult. Unless the AI makes a really dumb decision, or does something stupid, or I get really lucky and catch one of them just outside of reinforcement range or something like that, then it won't be a problem. But yeah. So here comes those guys again. They're going to try and hit me here, and again I'm going to run away, but if I run away, I'm going to lose all of my income, which is what I'm talking about right now. I don't want to lose that raiding income, and if I hold them here, I get the raiding income. But you can see that there's some low ground right there that I'm thinking about, but there's the high ground. So they're going to be marching downwards and up a huge hill to get to me. And right there you can see they have just a bunch of Persian bows, and that's what's going to be the issue, is I could hold them off. I have the infantry to do it, but I don't have the cavalry to beat back to hit their skirmishers. So I am going to retreat, and I am going to pull out of that. Now right here you can see that there's a big army there. Those guys are going to build another army. I do take a little more attrition, but I think that's the last time I'm going to take attrition. And I'm going to try and hinder them. I'm sorry, I'm going to try and misdirect their army, which is going to make them lose movement points, but my guy fails and he dies or gets injured. Didn't really look too hard at what happened, but I'm pretty sure he died. I'm trying to figure out if the Abar Shahar, whatever, has a wall, and I can't see it, so I'm just going to attack it, but I'm pretty, yeah, I knew there was. I don't know why I decided to do that quick little matter. I'm sorry. And I was thinking about getting a onager there to break down the walls, but that wouldn't work. But I decided against it because I didn't have the money for it. Now here, I'm trying to get my army to run, and this is where I attack Susa again, and I lose that axe unit, as you can see right there in red. I lose that unit, and for 403, it really wasn't worth it. It was a really bad decision, actually, to try and do that. And 403 gold for what it... I'm sorry, I don't know why I keep yawning, but as I was saying, it's really dumb to have lost that unit, because it's worth way more than 403, because I have to get the buildings for it, and I have to pay the money to buy it, and just, yeah. Now here, I'm going to attack cav because their units are extremely weak from attrition. I don't know, but as you can see, most of their units are half strength, and so I'm going to get a battering ram and a couple siege towers and siege them out. I am losing money again, unfortunately. I'm going to break the siege here because there's no reason to siege them, and then I'm going to put that army on as far a march as they can go, and I might take one more turn of attrition, but my goal for them is to get them towards the Sassanids to try and fight. Now, right now I'm going to try and get some free money from people that like me, or gifts. I'm getting 500 from them, and nobody else is willing to give me money, unfortunately. I even offered to join a war, which I really shouldn't, but military alliance, nope, they're not going to take that. But I offered to join a war, but I don't think they're going to take it. No, they still didn't take it, but I tried, and I know for a fact these guys didn't take it. They didn't want any part of that, and so we're just, if we could just get another 100 or so, we would be fine. But again, I just couldn't do it. And so right now I'm debating whether that minus 10% recruitment cost is really worth it. And right now I'm looking for an upgrade that might be might reduce the upkeep cost. But I decided to go for the industry, extra industry income, because we have a ton of industry buildings. And right here I decide just to increase the tax rate just so we don't lose the money. Because and right there I'm pointing out that I forgot to do those things, and so I'm gonna try and do those now. And I'm gonna have him adopt somebody, probably Oktar or there's my son, Lebed. I don't know what I'm talking about here. I think I'm talking about making him the heir, but then I decided against it. And right there, I can't adopt Oktar and make him a Dread Rider, so I decide to adopt Vegki, or I'm just going to say Veg. And right here, I'm looking at mercenaries, but as you can see, I'm debating whether I should get the mercenaries, but they're so expensive upkeep-wise, and I don't want to lose a ton of money. And as you can see right there, Onagers. Why do I keep yawning? As you can see there, Onagers extremely expensive, almost 1,000. Now the mercenary sword brigands or whatever I was just looking at, would it be worth it? They're only 170, but at the same time, I've only got 1,700, and in about 3-4 turns, I'm gonna have absolutely no money. So, yeah, and right there, I'm talking about how I need to bring that army down to assist the army that I'm circling right there, and again, they're gonna hit me, and I'm gonna retreat because I can't fight them at the same time. And right there, I corner myself, and this is where things get good. This is where the tides of the battle change, and I get really excited. I quick save it because they have their king's army, as you can see there, and it's shit. My army can easily beat his, now with losses, but I can beat it. His spear units, not an issue. They may outnumber me, but my 4 sword units, the guys with the big shields and the guys with the red shields, can easily slaughter them. And with cavalry support, my cav should be able to beat the little bit of cav he has. And my archer cavalry is really good. I have really good archer cav, and that's going to play a big role in this battle. Not a huge role, but a sizable role. But it's actually those 3 units that are in between. It's going to be my sword cav, the cav with a horse symbol and a sword. Those guys are going to be the most. They're going to do the most. And right there I'm talking about the infantry and stuff, and I'm talking about how my spear units aren't going to be the greatest in the fight, and I'm going to try and avoid using them in a lot of the combat, although I do still end up using them. But I'm going to put my units into a pretty different formation than I would normally put them in. And I decide that we're going to take the hill and defend against the hill. But what I didn't realize is that, okay, so Group 1 and Group 2, those two groups, those 5 units are going to be the biggest units. They're going to play the largest role. So I'm going to set my troops up to take the hill. And yeah, we're going to take the hill, and it's right about, yeah, so it says enemy reinforcements are incoming. And I didn't really notice that. And I was taking the hill, and I figured, oh, everything's going to be fine. But if you watch the mini-map, I was wrong. Right there. I didn't notice it until right about now is when I notice it. Because I look at the mini-map and I notice, wait a minute, there's not a lot of troops there. And this is where I look at the mini-map and I have a slight moment of panic. And I pause it. And I'm a little freaking out, but I decide that the best way to do this is to just, since there's not too many units on the mini-map, as you can see, there's only like 5 or 5 units that are to the way my army is facing right now. But that's not an issue. It's not an issue. I'm putting my army in a line, my horse archers in front. I put some of my spear cav. I put the Group 2 against one of their cav units, and I decide to have Group 3 attack their general unit out there, and I decide to have my general hit their cav, those Persian scouts. Although it doesn't work like that, it actually is reversed. My general hits their general, and the spear units, and Group 3 attacks their Persian scouts. But I'm going to have Group 2 hit that little Persian scout unit, or whatever that is. I have some Lockmid scouts coming at me, which are way better than the units I'm about to have them fight. But there is one bonus to the units, and that is cavalry tactics. And that gives you like a plus 200 bonus attack against cavalry. And so you can just see their numbers drop if I look at it. But right there, their Persian nobles. That's their Persian nobles. And that, I believe, is their king that I just pincered there. And he is definitely going to die. Now, this is where I make a big mistake. And this is what's going to cost me. This is where I lose a unit that I really shouldn't have lost. And I order him to charge, and he's just going to get demolished. Right here. That's where, it saves my horse archers. And I do knock out another one of those really good, what do you call them? Persian cataphracts. And then right here, my infantry, they charge one of their cataphracts into, and right there you can see the engagement. And I wasn't micromanaging, and so I lost a few cav to horse archers, and my general is engaging. I use fear to cause lower morale, and right here I'm having my units charge. I'm having a sword unit charge to help some of my cav. That unit is just getting picked apart by archers, and right here is where I pause to try and get a better feel for what's happening. I'm going to pull that unit out of the engagement now that that unit is dead, and I'm going to start giving my infantry units charging orders into the enemy infantry. Although you see how cleanly I'm doing this right now and how I have my units attacking different things. But yeah, it doesn't actually work like that. I go back, check on my general. They're killing the enemy general. Everything's going fine. I'm going to have my horse archers kill the enemy Persian cataphracts, and this is where I lose that horse unit. And you're going to, yeah, well, you could hear in a second, you'll see that unit just start to rout, and then I got an alert saying that unit's completely dead. And that's where I got a little worried about my general. Right about there, an entire unit has perished, and I check on my general here soon, a little worried. And then after I do that, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, it was that horse unit, because I notice I'm missing one of the units in group 1. But at the moment, I don't notice that. But I do have all my units fighting, and right about here is where I realize that my 2 very important cataphract units are in a bad engagement against spears. I start rushing my infantry over because it's just an huge enemy infantry blob. Right here, I'm spamming the cavalry tactics because otherwise that unit is going to lose, and I finally manage. But yeah, cavalry tactics, very useful against enemy cav. Right there, I have another one of those units, my horse units, just getting demolished. And I'm going to have my cataphracts engage, and I think that I lose one of those cataphract units. I have my archers target their archers. I go to check on my general. So far, the engagement against their general going very well, or very good, although there is some issues with their army approaching fast. I do end up losing that unit, accidentally giving a bad charge order, and so they are going to get annihilated, and I didn't realize that until it was too late. They are getting their asses handed to them, and I didn't realize it until it was too late, and that costs me a really good unit. As you can see, they're down to 6. I give my horse archers a charge order into their skirmishers and onagers, and this is where I order my units. I order my general and those 2 cataphract units to charge the what are they called? The archers. There we go. I use a fear ability on the spears, and I just have the rest of my troops hunt down the remainder of their infantry. I have my spear unit and sword unit charge the cataphract unit that the enemy has. I try to pull my bows out, and I do successfully do that, and we start just utterly slaughtering all of the enemy's cavalry. I do let that Persian, I am running down all of their units, but unfortunately a lot of their skirmishers got away with some fairly healthy numbers. Right here I'm trying to micro manage my general and horse units, and right about here is where the enemy decides to rout, and that was the worst thing they could do, because now they're just going to get slaughtered, and I am going to run down most of their units. Effectively, I completely destroyed the enemy army. They don't have anything left besides a couple horse archer units and a slinger. Their onager survived, but really it was pretty much just all of their ranged units, their skirmishers, that survived, and any melee units are dead. Although I will give them props. They definitely put up a good fight, but not as good as I figured they would. Actually, I lost way less units than I originally thought I would. I thought I was going to lose everything. I thought they were just going to pretty much destroy my army. I walked out of this with a lot less casualties than I expected, although 2 bad things happened that I didn't want to happen, which was I lost 2 units. I expected to take heavy casualties, but I did not expect to lose 2 units, and right there I'm just ordering my units to charge down. Everybody, pretty much every unit in the field is gone. I have all my units do rapid advance, which causes them to just haul ass. They're never going to reach there. I decide just line up with the army, you're never going to get anywhere. And I decide just to have these 3 units kill that unit, and once that unit is completely gone, I will give the order, I will end the battle. And so you can just see they mopped them up pretty good. It was a close victory, which I definitely agree with. That was a lot closer than I would have liked. You can see there they lost 1,900. We only lost 364. So they outnumbered us pretty much over 2 to 1. And right there you can see that I'm pointing out I lost that unit, and I lost that unit right there. But they lost their entire army for the most part, besides some skirmishers. Now, I could finish the army off next turn, when it's my turn, but I decided not to. And I did kill their king, a general, and their garrison. But yeah, only skirmishers survived, unfortunately. And my army, my general ranks up. But yeah, things are rough. They still have 2 full stack armies there, though, that are going to be an issue. And I would love nothing more but to destroy them. But with the condition my army is in at the moment, that is not an option. I can't even fight one of those armies now with the condition my army is in until I reinforce them and replenish them. So right now this army is just going to be in full-on retreat mode, and their job, and right now their objective is just to get out of range of the enemy army. So yeah, hopefully I can get them out of there. Hopefully I can get them, as you can see, rank increased. So I had a few ranked increases, and I don't. And there's rank 4, so there's him. And as you can see, they still have 2 full stack armies there, and I can't even beat one of them with the state my army is in. I'm going to go for a increase, and so right here you got fighter, which is unit experience, or food, which not the greatest. Thunder, which is authority and battle movement speed. And then there's Despoiler, which is sacking and raiding income, and I decided to go for that because of our money issues. I am going to march away, see what we got over in this area. And there's the army, the little army, but I do make a small comment in there saying that we could go for them, but if I did, we would... and I do decide to attack this because I do decide to save it and then auto-resolve and see what kind of losses we take, which is too much. I lose 2 units that I don't want to lose. And then I load it back and I manually fight it. Which manually fighting was definitely the best option. And I knew... Oh my god, I am sorry, I keep yawning. But again, I knew that that auto-resolving was going to be a poor decision. But I didn't want to fight this battle, and so when I did, I was a little sloppy in trying to just get it over with, but at the same time, I was really cautious. So I am going to fight the battle and try to take the city. Not take it, but destroy it. Unfortunately, I do win. Of course I win. I mean, there's no way they could stop me. But I do win, and then I sack it. If I didn't have those 2 full stack armies, I would raise it and hurt the Sassanids way more. But right now, I'm only sacking their cities to get the income, to get the money for it, so that we aren't in a completely shitty spot. But right there, I'm just saying that those Sandstorm is going to be... takes longer to ignite ships, buildings, and deployable defenses. And right here, I'm just making a comment on how Of course, it's going to give me a sandstorm because my entire plan revolves around me finding a spot where it's only one tower and then having my archers burn it down. But since it's going to take even longer, it already takes a really long time to burn down a tower, so I decide that I'm just going to not go with the burning down plan. I'm going to take the 3 infantry units that are healthy and deploy them. Take my cavalry units and just put them in reserve. I don't want to use them unless I have to. I'm going to put my general behind because my general is healthy, and then I'm just going to take everybody else and group them up in the back. I'm going to launch the battle, and I'm just going to have my archers see if they can hit the hurlers, and then I decide, no, wait, a better target would be their spear infantry next to the towers. I'm going to have my infantry march forward. Not run, but march. There's no reason to have them sprint up there just to get shot by a tower. I do the targeting thing for my archers, which allows them to put much more accurate and more effective shots into the spearmen, and that's going to cause them to take a lot more damage. I am watching the slingers on the side. If they land, I'll just have my archer or my cavalry charge, although it does end up being my archer cav. They start to bring one of their cavalry units forward, and I decide that I'm going to pull back my archer cav. And I have put them in loose formation so that the enemy towers are way less effective, and I'm just going to have my spears charge them, while my sword infantry attacks goes for their archers, although I know they'll never be able to keep up, so I decide I'll just have my general charge and have my infantry get in there and help out. I was thinking about having my cataphracts charge in at something, but then I decided against it. I am going to have my archers put effective fire into the spears rather than the horsemen, the cavalry, because my spears will be just fine against the cavalry because they have cavalry tactics. That and the enemy cavalry is already hurt enough. And right there, plus 400% bonus and plus 900%. So I think it's like plus 400% bonus against cavalry and 900 bonus against something else. But right there, you can see that my units are taking a beating from friendly fire. And I didn't even realize that that was happening. I was wondering why my units were getting so demolished, and then I decided, okay, we're just going to charge them. And that's where my units stopped getting their asses kicked so much, but at that point it's already too late. My archers have already killed a couple of them. And that friendly fire from the archers was what did it, and then they're getting shot by the tower and being attacked by a lot more enemies, and so I just have my general charge in, and it was a rear charge. Even though they are spears, it was still a rear charge, and my general unit is fairly good. Their morale is low, numbers are low, and we wipe them up. And I'm just trying to get them to shatter before my general takes any more damage from the enemy tower. And then I order my archers. For some reason it's not letting me select it, and there we go. It allows me to give the order. And this battle should be over relatively soon. I am still worried about that tower, and right there you can see the red line is where the range is, and so I'm just trying to get my general out of range of the tower. Right there, a second ago I just told my units to walk instead of run so that they don't take any losses or lose any more stamina before they get there. I am sprinting my cavalry, my horse archers through, again making sure that my units are walking and not running. Right now they're winded. I'm checking the range to see if I want to pull my general around, but I decide against it because it will be in range. My units are still in range of the tower, and So I decide that I'm going to move them just out of range. Right there, they're just on the edge. So they should be out of range, but for some reason they're still getting shot at. And I don't know why. And so then I decide to move them even further away, out of range of that tower. And they are definitely out of range. The tower has stopped firing. And again, I'm going to decide to do the precision shot onto the enemy general, and that's going to cause a lot of casualties, or at least do some fairly good damage to his unit. And he's getting shot in the back. He's charging down against my units, and that's where I order them to just charge. I am going to give my general the order to run up there and do a fear thing, but I'm getting a little worried at this point, watching where the arrows are landing and how they're hitting my own troops. I am worried about friendly fire, so I decide that we're going to put them into a better position up on the hill, where their fire is going to be a lot closer ranged, and it should help with the arc. So not as many rounds are going to arc over the target and hit my own units, but yeah, I am going to position my general there, give the fear ability, and I'm going to wait until the enemy unit starts to waver or rout. And I see they're starting to waver, so I give the general unit a charge order down the slope, and he should easily, they rout before he even gets there. And since none of my units are getting shot at by an enemy tower, I decide just give my units a little more XP and kill the enemy general unit. Just slaughter them. So that's what I have them do. And I'm going to wait until every last one of their units is dead, just for a little bit of extra XP. There we go, decisive victory. Although I did take a few more losses than I would have liked. See, 113, they lost their entire garrison. So 113, I would have preferred to lose less than 90, but the spear unit with getting shot in the back was definitely a bad thing. And you can see that the unit is gone. I did lose them. Actually, no, I didn't. They barely survived. I still have them, but they are definitely not in a fighting position. So, again, decisive victory. The enemy has been defeated. I don't know why I stopped there. There we go. Going to sack the enemy army, or the enemy place, and my army gets a level up. And so there's Bane of the East, which is morale, and level 2 is +6 morale, and there's +20% missile attack rate, which would also be good, or raiding income and integrity. So I really just don't know which one I want more, and so then I all three are really good. I decide to check to see what other things there are that I could work towards, and I decide that, there's mostly just a lot of morale stuff on that side. So I decide, we're going to go with morale. And actually, no, we're not. We're going to go with morale and missile attack, which is +3 morale against Sassanids or Eastern Empires, and +10% missile attack rate. So that's even better, and we do have a nice juicy target there to the lower right of our army, but I decide, that's not a good idea because their armies are in close pursuit, and we have finally got to a position where we can outrun them, and that army is just gonna run away. And I'm gonna have this army attack Spahan. It is undefended, besides a shitty garrison, and yeah, we should be able to take Spahan. That's going to be some good income. They are taking a food shortage, but I am going to see what I can do to fix that, even though the building is -2 integrity. And decide to check the integrity, and we are losing integrity. -9 to buildings, tax, and food. The tax and food should be fixed pretty easily just by lowering the tax rate. I am going to lose the lower the tax rate, which should fix that. And right there I'm just looking at buildings and seeing if I can get any building that'll increase integrity, which so far all of them are minus besides Elder's Yurts. Elder's Yurts are +3 integrity, which should somewhat counter some of the negative effects from the other buildings. But it does take 6, and that takes 3. So I need a total of 9 population growth, population surplus, in order to build both of those buildings. And I think food is more important, and then we can go for the +3 integrity. But -5 integrity, not a big issue. Once we take out Spahan, they should have a big bonus from winning the battle, and everything will be fine. Right here, I'm going to have him find a wife, because he looks a little lonely. And then Lebed, I'm going to have him be my heir. And then I'm going to look at Oktar and Sunicus, and I'm going to decide that I want to adopt one of them. And right there, I'm just looking at some things I could do, because I don't really know too many of these. There's embezzle funds, which I was thinking about doing, because that'd be good, but... oh my god, excuse me again. But I decided not to. And then there's gather support. No reason to gather support, so I'm just going to probably adopt Oktar, like I wanted to do the previous turn. So yeah. And then I'm gonna end the video there. So in part 5, this is part 4, but in part 5 we should be taking out those 2 cities, Kath and Spahan. So that is the video. So again, right there, I'm just showing you guys that I'm going to be taking those 2 cities. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in part 6.